allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Howard?
Here.
Ms. Magnuson? Here. Mr. Mueller?
Here.
Mr. Musselman? Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Mr. R. Story?
Yes.
Mr. S. Story?
Yes.
Chairman Bigger?
Here. All right, well, we have our minutes from the last meeting. Is there any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to accept.
Got Robert and Tom, is that what you said that? Motion by Robert, second by Tom to approve the minutes. Is there any other discussion? If not, we can pull the board.
Ms. Magnuson?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. R. Story?
Yes.
Mr. S. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Howes?
Yes.
Chairman Bigger?
Yes. All right, welcome everybody here tonight. Would anybody like to address the board before we get started? Okay, we're ready. Mark, I think
Do
you're
we
up.
have 3 new board members in the audience?
I think we do, yes.
What's your name, please?
Andrew Jackson.
Jackson, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know Lynn and Mr.
I
Long?
know Lynn and Long, yeah, Bill, hi Glenn.
Pay close
Appreciate you
attention.
coming.
This will all belong to you in the near future.
I'll leave one at, please.
Have you got one? Cole?
Thank you.
Are these all the same? Okay, just one? Okay, great.
That's the next one.
Either one is in.
All right, well, the first thing that I have is the Bradford Road Tarp Project. That's a project that we're working on resurfacing and improving the east of drought pools out to the county line there. It's a shared project with the village of Bradford and the county. Part of it is in town, and part of it is outside the village. To improve that route to a truck route all the way into Bradford. We are requesting a waiver from IDOT to avoid the right-of-way acquisition in the southeast quadrant of the intersection. There's maneuvering we need to do with the trucks in order to make that turning radius, but we want to do it the right way. We can still do it, but we do IDOT stuff. The environmental services request has been submitted. That's being reviewed by IDOT and HLR is a consultant for this project, and they're working on preliminary plans to put all the information together, get it out for bid. As part of that preliminary plan preparation, they're also going to be preparing some cost estimates, and then once we get all those together, we'll share some, or talk to the village about the final cost sharing portion. As we talked in the past, the village will be paying for the improvements that they specifically want, such as the roads, sidewalk, entrance ramps, and the driveway access, those type of things. The next project is the.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Environmental services request.
Yes.
What's involved in that?
That's, for us, it's pretty simple. It's a few forms to fill out, and then IDOT reviews the project from their perspective and determines if there are any environmental issues that need to be addressed before the project.
Like that spider down in Texas.
It's a
Okay.
Endangered species review and all that. And this is a research project, so it's a formality.
It's a formality.
Yeah, but we do need to go through it. And the reason we need to go through it on this particular project is because it's federal, we're using some federal money.
Okay.
So whenever we use federal dollars, we have to check all the boxes and make sure we.
But it's more than just dangerous species, it'd be runoff
it's-
and
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff.
Wetlands and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The next project is the Diagonal Bridge rehabilitation. That is, the Diagonal Bridge is a bridge at Stark Spear Road and Holmes Road. It's, we call it a bridge, it's listed as an IDOT structure. It's not really a bridge, it's a triple box culvert, triple 10x10 box culvert. So there's 3 barrels that are 10 by 10 that convey water. It's a little bit of an odd bridge structure because it actually does go diagonally across the intersection. It goes from the northwest to, or northeast to the southwest. So it's a little bit unique in that way. It was built in 1947. It's about 80 feet long. And overall, the box itself is in good shape, but it's got wing wall deterioration. The wing walls are separated from the structure. So we've had the consultant look at it. They've done completed the bridge condition report. That's been submitted to IDOT, and now it's a matter of having IDOT approve the recommended improvements, which are to basically replace the wing walls, in addition to doing some in-stream work on the discharge side to put some erosion control. The alternative there is to replace the whole thing. That would be about $1.5 million, which would be, of course, don't have. Now that the bridge condition report has been submitted to IDOT, the only question that's out there is if, again, we'll be using some federal bridge money on this project. So it needs to go through the federal review process. And typically at the state, they don't have any problem with rehabbing a bridge like this for wing wall deterioration. But sometimes it's right on the border of whether or not the feds will allow it. So we expect it to be approved, but that's not the final say.
Any questions on Diagonal Bridge?
The next one is, this one I thought we had put to bed a long time ago. It's actually a good thing that we had to reopen it. The Walnut Creek Bridge, that project is the one down on West Jersey Road. We had gotten some ARA funding and some major bridge funding to pay for the bridge. And part of that funding was to pay for the construction engineering. And all of that work was done, and the project was closed down. And as I was going through my budgeting now to try to kind of bring all those numbers forward and make sure that I can kind of align all of my federal dollars with where we are now, I noticed that we were never paid or reimbursed for that construction engineering. So over the past couple of weeks, I've had numerous discussions with IDOT people, and they said, well, it shouldn't have been built, the bridge was constructed, and this was part of the construction engineering portion of it. So we went round and round and round, and we finally have convinced them that, we could really use this money, and they said that they would reopen the project. So they are going to reapportion, reallocate money from the major bridge project to now reimburse us for about $35,000 of construction engineering.
I got a letter, I don't know if it's the same project, but a demand for payment from IDOT for like 22 grand.
Exactly. That is what we still owe them for the construction portion of the project, not the construction engineering portion of the project. So the final demand and letter is, I have not paid that $22,000 because.
I assume not, I wouldn't have gotten that letter.
Exactly. Until we got this $35,000 resolved, so.
Okay, but we're okay. I mean, I don't have to worry about them coming and knocking on my door. I mean, I got that letter, and, I mean, it sounded pretty
Yeah.
serious, a demand for payment.
Absolutely, absolutely, it is a serious letter. I think that's what's, these two sections don't even talk to each other. That's part of the problem. Because that's what I've been trying to tell them, is that I will pay you the 22,000 when I get 35,000. So.
And then the letter from the governor's office a couple of months back saying we're gonna get about a similar amount of money. Is that tied to this as well?
No, that's a completely separate.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's the additional money from the 500 million that was allocated back 3 years ago. They're paying out $100 million increments. Stark County's portion of that.
But you feel comfortable with this IDOT situation on the Walnut Creek Bridge, it's all gonna play out? IDOT's gonna be patient, we're gonna trade some dollars around, everybody's gonna be happy.
Right.
Okay.
We're getting there. It's when I got that final plan letter and showed that to the people who I was waiting for the check for, that now I can see it.
Okay.
How much is the other? The other's about 22,000.
Yeah.
Is the project done? completed?
The project was done in '09.
Yeah. That's it.
So
That was one, I think, where Fitz got us a bunch of, that was like $1 million project, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
And they've been waiting for the 22,000 since '09? Or no,
Well-
why we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
technically, yes.
Okay.
Well, we've been waiting for the $35,000 they owe us for the engineering fees too.
I'm
They're
just
still
surprised they
ahead.
haven't heated up before now. Why isn't it, yeah, why you're not
Didn't
trying to
Homer
collect on it?
didn't Homer go down there and do a bunch of engineering? He
Yeah,
shot all,
Yeah, he did some of the engineering down there.
he did all the approaches and that was saved us 80,000 and then it was,
Right.
there was some more work that he did and they had to pay us for what he did.
Well, I guess I'm just surprised there's.
Well, they
there's
actually
been any
paid us for what
payment this
John
time.
did. They didn't pay us for what we had to consult.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that's a good thing, actually. It's been a little bit of pain. It will end up as good. Kind of getting on to some of the ongoing things, the salt shed disposal. Don't have the results back. I called them today, but the samples have been taken of the roof. We need to make sure that those aren't asbestos before we can tear it down. So once I get back on the list, we're not asbestos and we can move forward. I've also been working using the GIS system on pavement management and culvert management. Again, part of the process of trying to update the condition rating for those, and also using that information to which is the next time question for next year. In addition to all this, we are also, IDOT was hired a District 4 auditor in January. So IDOT is finally getting around to doing all the audits that they never did for all the years that they didn't have an auditor. So we are now in the process of going through our audit for fiscal year '06, '07, '08, '09, '11. So that's been a little bit of a process. Becky's been doing fantastic with those guys, working closely with the IDOT people, so she's got a pretty straight now. And then I've not gotten, past several weeks have been pretty crazy, but I've made some phone calls today that start interviews for the highway maintenance position. That we have open, so.
Do you have applicants already, or we're just advertising, or?
No, we do have applicants. We advertised a couple weeks back, and we had 12 applicants.
Really?
Yeah.
You get somebody leaving?
Yes, yeah, but,
I'm sorry, what was that?
yeah, Robert asked if we had somebody leave. Yes, we
If we had what?
We had somebody leave,
Oh, no, yeah.
yeah, Bert Walker. But,
Really?
Didn't know that.
so-
Bert left, right?
Yeah.
Bert. Move back up to the budget. Will you be ready to present your budget next month?
Absolutely.
Right, okay, great. And one, the auditor point out, there's one fund, it's the highway fund, that we've got that shortfall that we've been tracking for a number of years. Can you kind of just refresh our memory as to how that started and where we're at with that?
You bet. That occurred many years back, like '08 and '09, I think. And I think there was just some expenses that highway department incurred that, we didn't have MFT money to pay for. So I think, we transferred, or I'm sorry, not MFT, county highway money to pay for it. So we transferred money from, at that point, they took county bridge funds and loaned that to the county highway fund. And, apparently that was done, and it probably wasn't caught until, the auditors caught it, I think 2 years ago. So we've been investigating and trying to figure out, how it all occurred.
So it's county highway that we're short in, right?
Yes, county highway owes county bridge,
Right.
the I think it's $100,000.
That's our only account on the books that's got a shortfall in it, the auditor pointed out tonight. So I know we're aware of it, and I knew it was something that happened some years back,
Yeah.
and we're trying to dig out of that. It's just gonna take some time.
Yeah, that's,
That's the 130,000 due to other fund.
yes, 130. What I would like to ask the auditor, I need to do that, is how much time can we take? The county highway fund is the fund that we pay everything.
No, no, no.
Can you hear anything you say? $100,000.
I can't even, I think it's a secret.
So, whittle away at it.
And that's a problem, because we're at our statutory maximum on the levy. We don't have a way to go in there and get more money, so we've got to work within that confines of what we've got, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're at the, in fact, I think most of, if not all of the road funds are at their statutory.
Can we take this $13,000 and pay on it?
The,
Yeah, when you get the money from the state.
Yeah, it's unexpected money. We could put that towards that. I haven't budgeted it. I could use it, but.
That we're going.
But that,
What-
well, that's coming to the bridge fund though, that's what we owe the money to.
Yeah, we're,
County highway
Yeah,
short, right?
You're right, county highway,
Highway.
county bridge is short.
County highway is what we borrow the money, we borrow the money from.
Okay, I
the
just
bridge.
thought earlier Ron said it was county highway was the one that was
where's
in
the
the
county
negative.
bridge playing
Does
the
it-
biggest
What page are you on, Colleen?
I'm on page 7. Where's the county bridge play? They're not, what fund are they in, the county bridge? Because they're not listed. It's county motor fuel tax, township motor fuel tax, and county highway. Where's the bridge fund?
Okay, that's a separate fund.
So that's not listed.
I'm reading this, the county, am I reading this wrong? It said the county highway owes somebody 130 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
It's county highway.
But
that's-
originally
County
they
highway
had-
owes the county bridge.
Right, so the county, that's why I said the county highway's what's short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, so when I said the county highway's short, I was right.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
Well,
right.
well, Tom was saying we get 35,000, there's 13,000.
No, I'm just trying to get a handle on what fund is short. It's the county highway fund, correct?
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, the question I asked was if we had this $13,000, that they're gonna pay us, it's not budgeted for anything, could we pay it on that loan?
Well, you might need it if you need it for something.
It might,
else. I mean,
it might be
you have a lot of
dedicated
cash
to the
in it.
county bridge fund, since it's the money for a bridge.
Bridge,
I
I'll have
just
to look
would
at that.
like to see where the bridge fund comes from.
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't want to get in the same spot. I mean, but basically what we've got here is we have the county highway is short 130 grand. We don't have any taxing room to up that, so we either have to do less projects and pay this off over a period of time, or just carry this indefinitely, right? Okay,
At this point.
Page 10 and page 61.
okay,
Page 10 is just that, it's, yeah.
all right. Go on.
Okay. Down on the maintenance report, being down to one guy, he's been pretty busy. He's done some patching up on Elmira, some ditch maintenance. We've been working with one of the farmers over in Bradford to do some ditch maintenance over there. Kevin's also now working on, we've got, one of the county bridges has got a pretty high scour rating because of the configuration of how the water is converted over time into the bridge. So we're working on correcting that scour problem on Castle Bridge.
You just straighten the channel, do you, down?
Yeah, we're trying to straighten the ditch over time, so now the ditches had eroded your spouse wants to get rid of everything, but you want to keep everything. Now that we're being one person, we can make some decisions. So we're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And then, of course, equipment repairs, although we've been pretty lucky, not been looking at major increase.
So you hope, how soon do you hope to hire somebody, you think?
Well, by the time, get in touch in this next week, I would say within 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And if we can get the offer out.
Then you'll hire them in based on what, I mean, your salary line item and your budget. I mean, have you given any thought to whether this person's gonna come in at the same or less, or how you're approaching that?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is kind of take a look at what their skills are. We got Kevin at the rate he's at, which it worked. Kevin kind of, when we first started, they came in with about the same experience and at about the same time, so we paid them the same amount. But now, we'll get somebody, I don't believe, based on my recollection of candidates, I don't think anybody has as much experience as Kevin does doing the things that we're doing, so I would expect, we'll adjust their salary based on that.
I don't have an associate degree in mechanics and do that $90 an hour mechanic work for us for $16 an hour either. I talked to you about that last week when we were going out of here. If we lose him, that's $90 an hour when it goes back to the shop.
Well, I know what you're saying, Tom, but we gotta live within our reality. We can't pay somebody $90 an hour. We can't have
Well,
it.
you'll have to, because
Well, no,
when
we
we
won't.
take.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if
when
we have a
take
bill,
the
but I mean, we're not
truck to the
gonna,
shop-
you and I both know, we're not gonna hire somebody in at $90 an hour, right? Okay.
That's not what I meant, Mike. What I meant, sir, was the fact that he deserves something when he saves us $90 an hour at the shop.
No, what he deserves is get paid what we put in the salary line item that we budgeted and that we're able to pay, not a penny more, not a penny less. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just the reality of it.
But the reality is that if you lose him, you're gonna
We
take
hire
that.
somebody new. We hire
No,
somebody new.
you're gonna take that equipment to the shop.
Well, if we have to.
And when you do, you're gonna pay $90
All right, but the reality is that
an hour.
we're not gonna go in there in mid-budget year and pay somebody more, we're not gonna do it.
I didn't suggest that, but when you're talking about lowering one guy's salary and looking at people you have and.
No, we're not talking about
the
lowering
new-
anybody's
The
salary.
new man,
The new guy, right,
the
right.
new man, he'll probably come in at less money.
I would think.
All I'm saying is we need to take a look at the man we have for the services he's providing us. That's all I'm
No,
trying to say.
and I understand, believe me, Tom, I understand what you're saying, but the reality of it is we passed a budget. Kevin gets paid what Kevin gets paid for this year, period.
I'm not talking about this year.
Right, and then next year, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and we'll get into all that, but if we start cherry picking people and giving certain people more than the others, we're gonna have all kinds of trouble. Yeah, especially if we're going into negotiations with the sheriff's department, I think. But I understand what you're saying, and if we lose him, we lose him though.
But what I'm saying to you is, every time he backs one of those trucks in the garage, we go to work on it, it'd cost us eight hours regular pay, 2 hours, 2 people to take the truck to the shop, 2 hours, 2 people to bring the truck back from the shop. Then it would cost us $90 an hour to have the truck worked on at the shop, is the point I'm trying to make.
No, I understand, and I'm not looking to try to lose the guy either, but again, the reality of it is in the constraints that we're in, we're $130,000 short in the
But
highway
he was
fund.
talking about qualifications, is what he brought up. And I only reinforced his point that there are more qualifications with this man than what meet the eye.
Right, the existing employee.
Yes, sir.
Right, and I'm not disputing that for a minute, but again, the reality of it is we just can't go out and reward him individually, I don't think, I mean necessarily. I mean,
And he makes we pay him $16 an hour?
1680, I think, something around there.
Is he not happy with that, or you're just suggesting that?
No, that was just Tom's suggestion.
No, it's not my suggestion
He's
either.
not
Well,
complaining?
I don't even worry about a problem until it happens. Don't foresee something that ain't
Once it
there.
happens, it's too late.
Well, he's
How's
not
it too late?
He's not complaining, is he?
No,
well,
I talked
I think
to
part of our problem, I think countywide, is the lack of any other benefits. We don't offer any group health plans anymore, and so I think if we lose people, it's gonna be as much as a result of benefits as it is to salary. And I'm all for paying people every penny we can possibly afford to give them, but again, I just don't see us being able to bump anybody up significantly, is all I'm saying. Unfortunately, I wish we could.
The benefits are, that was decided by the employee that left. So we will do the best we can, and we'll get the best person.
It's where we've always been. We've been a training ground for people. They come and they go to work for us. You know, they wear out our cars, they break our stuff, they learn to make all the mistakes.
Wait a minute, no,
and
wait a
down
minute,
the
this
road-
guy does $90 an hour repair work, he breaks it, he fixes it.
I'm making reference to other people that work for us. And then
Well,
they go
that's all we
back.
can afford, so.
Yeah, but then
It's one
somebody
of the
else
smallest
hires
counties
them.
in the state, I
All right.
mean, it's our reality. We don't
But the
have-
reality is,
We
he
don't have
can't
any
eat,
money.
he can't eat and live any cheaper than you can or I can.
Well,
He can't do that.
I know, but.
So then he works part-time somewhere else,
Mhm.
he steals or he does something to feed his family.
Well, you know what, I mean, it's just, I mean, everybody, that's true of everybody in this
Yeah.
building.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, I hope he doesn't steal, because then we'd get in trouble, we'd have
I
fired.
didn't mean him, I
Don't
didn't
tell
mean
the
him.
sheriff that.
Sheriff, you know he's stealing?
The court surveillance on it.
All right, sorry, Mark, we're gonna,
That's okay.
looks like you're gonna go to some golf outings here coming up in September.
Couple coming up. As you know, the IAC, that is the three organizations that has county engineers. It's an excellent place. It is a very close-knit group. We help each other out all the time, talking about ways to save money, share all of our ideas.
County engineers, you know, across the state.
I think it's important you go to this.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yes, it is.
That's all I have.
Can't wait till next month, the budget time, we'll have a lot of fun then. All right, thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Before I forget it, did you get a thing in the mail for the graduation, the academy graduation for UCC?
I just might be a serious question for a little bit. What are the non-major governmental funds?
What page is that?
7.
Let's see. Well, probably not gonna know. We're talking about that. Let's see.
Are
Non-major.
those all,
Um,
is that just our ask?
General fund, let's see, county highway.
Don't be a Jeff.
What is that?
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, in fact, what is that? A lot of it's restricted though. I mean, 1 million's restricted, so it has to be. I'm trying to figure out what the-
You know, that could, yeah, because he talks about all of the dedicated funds that come in making up, because it's a lot more money than what we really look at as a,
We don't look at, but I was wondering about all that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Is that just our assets and stuff?
um,
I've been looking through, it doesn't give a description of that fund in the
we
narrative.
have to just give Ron a call or check
I'm
with him.
just curious,
Yeah.
I know it's not money we can get, but
No, it's a good
it's
point,
mostly
though.
restricted. But it describes all the funds, but it doesn't go to that one. On page 15 and 16, it describes what the funds are, but it doesn't
Well,
mention that one.
Page 37.
Does that give any clue what it is?
Page
37?
37, 38.
Oh,
Court
okay.
system, probation services, you know.
But that doesn't account for the millions of dollars.
Well.
That's showing. I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, because then on the total for,
Here we go,
on page
non-major.
40, it shows that 998 figure.
You got 39 and 40, you keep going.
But anyway, okay, it just lists the totals.
Yeah, you're going all the way to,
It's an accounting thing, but,
you're going all the way to page 46 with that.
I'll figure it out
Yeah,
sometime.
look at 37 to
I
46.
just don't know what that money is, okay.
37 to 46.
Okay.
All right, Sheriff, you're back.
One last statement on the budget, and I'm sure we all know it, but that does not include any increase or decreases in contractual pay hours, salaries or anything.
I know I gotta get, Jim's gone out
Are
of
you
town
talking
until
about the
Thursday.
negotiations coming up?
Right.
Yeah,
We gotta get
My
back on
budget
that.
does not reflect
yeah, I
anything.
was gonna add, I wondered about
Yeah,
that.
'cause we talked initially about meeting on the 12th through the 13th, but that, Jim's out of town, and I'm on the 2 days of meetings tomorrow. But we need to get something set up here real soon, so when he gets back Thursday, I know he's gonna meet with Jimmy, I think on Friday, to look at some numbers, budget numbers, but we need to get a meeting set up real soon.
That's basically all I have unless there's questions on the bills.
One of those says question.
What kind of response, oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
you got 6 questions.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from Mark Verstraete, who I believe is on the Bradford School Board.
Yeah.
His question to me was, why didn't, if we're in such bad financial shape, why didn't, when we passed the public safety tax, we go for 1% instead of half? And I said, that was a decision of the county board, and I suggested if you have any questions concerning that, you get a hold of the county board and ask them. I said, and I think if you're in favor of another proposal for more of a public safety tax, to express your views to the county board.
Well, my problem was kind of all this, how I feel about this. If Bradford and Piedmont were fulfilling their legal,
That was brought up.
would we even, or, I mean, how much of the problem is that? To
What do
Bradford,
you,
not
what do you mean?
Well,
As
how
far as
much-
my problem goes,
the budget for all of you having to, is if
there's
they
a lot of,
would,
there's labor,
if they would do what they're supposed to do.
you know, there's a lot
I
of labor.
mean, that
involved.
county is for the county roads, that public safety tax. And I think Bradford's a little bit misunderstanding. Wyoming, you know, I mean, they need to provide for their town, and then you provide for the county unincorporated.
I honestly don't think it works that way, but I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, how much, do
I
they
think
have
the
a legal
The
obligation?
consensus of Bradford and Toulon, I think, is that they pay the same taxes as everybody else does
Yeah.
for law enforcement. So
But
it
are-
should be.
But
I'm
you know
just
what
trying
else,
to figure out
though?
how much of the problem
Those
is
people,
and
those
not.
taxpayers within those city limits also pay taxes to the city, and the
Correct.
city's
And they're
decided
not-
they're
that's
gonna
what
provide
I'm-
police
the point I'm
protection.
trying to make.
If they're gonna do that, they need to provide police protection. If they aren't, they need to start paying the county to fill that void.
Right, that's
Why
what I
should
told
the
them.
whole county be penalized because they're not doing their,
Did you get a response to the letters you sent out from the city about?
yeah, are they gonna increase
I'm
it?
having a meeting with the school board tomorrow.
Yeah, how about from the,
Counties?
I got a letter, the only response I got was from, Toulon's mayor, who stated he was gonna hire another individual, and which he did. I won't go into how it was done, but he hired another part-time individual. And, you know, and just to, for sticking up for Rick for once, he's the only one that really come forward and wanted to talk to me about what we could do. Mutual duty to satisfy the problem.
Yeah, I guess I was just wanting to get from you how much of the problem is the issue, is the two towns not, or is that not?
It's hard to say. My only problem is, I never know when they're gonna have somebody working. So I have to guess the nights that I got one deputy working
Yeah, so you're adding
for
manpower.
a safety factor.
For-
Right.
And they're
Do I
legally,
pay another one overtime to work? And
Mhm.
usually what I do is pay another one to work, or else I stay home and take the calls if they need help.
yeah. And did, what, are they legally, are they doing what they're supposed to be doing legally? Are they supposed to be providing for, like, do you know, did we look into that, Bob?
I think
They can get by with it? They can do what they want?
They can do what they want. Legally, the Stark County Sheriff's Office does not have to provide police protection for anybody. The only thing we have to do is maintain the jail by state statutes, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right.
But
You're right.
how far do you wanna go with that? You know,
The one thing we're not looking at is the 7 or 8 hours a day that the school's in session, when the banks are open, and certain other public safety issues that we need to be providing for. I have seen the village of Bradford surround the school to back up the sheriff with volunteer ladies from the ambulance and volunteer firemen. None of them had any business on a perimeter when there could have been a bomb in the school. None of them had any business there. That's the, and Jimmy is the chief law enforcement officer for the county. He is, and so they look to him for leadership. They don't listen, but they look. And I think that's really too bad, because I think he does a tremendous job.
Are you done?
the only thing, to answer one of your questions, the only thing I put in my letter that I sent to the superintendents of school is, in my opinion, Toulon and Bradford needed to have at least one of their part-time policemen work during the daytime when school was in session.
I mean, we're at the point now, I mean, obviously, to go back to the voters for more taxes is gonna be up to the new board, because we're past the deadline.
And I
for
told
election.
them that too, I said, I
It'd
would
have to be the March, it'd have to be the March primary. But again, you gotta look at the last couple of years, with the public safety tax that we passed, we are able to operate within a balanced budget and running about a $60,000 surplus. We've done that now for 2 or 3 years in a row. I think this is at least the third year of a balanced budget. What we haven't been able to do is get out from under the tax anticipation warrant borrowing. So if we pay the guys at the highway building more money this time, if we give new hire to the sheriff's department and we got benefits this time, if we give everybody in the offices an increase because of everything we'd like to do, that surplus is gonna be gone in a heartbeat, and we're gonna be right back where we were in 2009.
I just hate to keep going
So
back
all
to
I'm
the public
saying
every 2 years.
is as we talk about people and salaries and stuff, Tom, we gotta be very careful, and that what we would like to do and what would be the right thing to do isn't something we can do, unfortunately. And we don't have any extra money to give people anything.
Well, if we go back for more money, I don't wanna go back every 2 years and say, oh, we need more, we need
Right.
more, we gotta figure out.
Yep, I mean, but
You know,
that's something the new board will wanna look at, whether they feel like over this next few period of time, and get out from under that tax statistic, because we have the budget in order now, I think. And Ron complimented us on that, how close we came on the budget, so we got a handle on year to year and day to day. But what we don't have is with the hole we dug back in '09.
And you're not getting any help from either Bradford or Toulon. I'd be the first person to tell you that.
Not a lot,
The
right?
people that they have working for them in Bradford either live in Ladd, Illinois, and then, Mr. Marquez that runs the dog, that's the chief of police in Wynette, that works for Bradford. He got knocked down the other day by an individual there in Bradford while he was working. He just had his knee operated.
They just have a hard time getting people to work there.
Well, I was gonna say, even in Toulon too, there's got one of the part-time people that live in Toulon.
Anyway, he just had his knee operated on, so there's nobody to work the dog. And there's no officer to patrol, so they're down to her, basically.
One thing Mayor Collins did tell me that he was gonna do was raise his part-time policeman's wages to $17 an hour. And I'm only paying my county part-time deputies $13 an hour.
There they go, there's an opportunity for them, they can work in Toulon.
That's what I told them.
Sorry.
Are you through with me?
Yeah, is Bob Taylor gonna apply?
I think Mr. Taylor is thinking about retirement.
Oh, really? All right,
God bless you.
thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see, Debbie, I think we're ready.
There's not much to report yet on the Multnomah Township Assessment District.
Okay.
I was at Toulon's meeting a few weeks ago, and they were all there for Ron Tuthill. And they didn't want to go ahead and make a decision without him. And they voted on that once, so they're holding another meeting, and of all times, it's tomorrow night, after the county board. But I called the Department of Revenue today, so I do have some other information I'm going to give Toulon tomorrow night. So I'm going to go to that meeting at 7. And the gentleman that we sent the map into, the proposed multi-township district, where we were combining West Jersey and Goshen with Toulon, that was Toulon's objection. They don't really want to, consolidate and be a multi-township district. So when I talked to this gentleman from the state, he said if they vote that down tomorrow night, they have to come up with another proposal. They have to, if they don't accept the map, they have to come up with another proposed district. Either, suggest leaving Toulon alone and consolidating with, I think I explained last time, they could go with Elmira, Goshen, West Jersey, which is kind of, I'd rather just leave Elmira, Osceola up there together. The one assessor's been doing that, those two townships for a long time. And Penn, Essex, and Valley, if you put the two, Goshen, West Jersey, with those, you've got 5 townships. So the person from the state said, the only way the county board will act on this is if we can't come up with any solution. If they come up with another proposed, multi-township district and it's not acceptable to me, then the county board has the final say and we have to have a public hearing. But if they go ahead and approve this, which maybe they will tomorrow night, or if they come up with another solution, and it's acceptable to me, then all we have to do is just send that map into the state by October 1. Where if they disapprove it, we can't come up with anything, then before November 15th, the county board has to hold a public hearing, and you guys can decide, whatever, if you feel that Toulon, West Jersey, and Goshen, but hopefully we can get work on
Do they realize, just what you just said, that they have to have an alternative?
They know. I sent a letter to all the supervisors. We discussed that when I was there. I sat and went through every bit of it with them. But, the question it was mainly one person had was, what are we gaining from this?
Well, you have to do something.
It's like the state said, or the person from the Department of Revenue, he said, I told him, I said, as far as classes, it would save you. Because instead of Toulon trying to find someone and, putting it off on the county, if they found someone would take the class and become qualified, instead of West Jersey, Goshen, and this, wherever they're gonna go, paying for someone to get that education. You have those three townships, they could split that cost. So, you know, if it costs $2,000, and they can do this over 4 years, so it's not $2,000 one year. You know, they have until, like I said last month when I discussed this, it's 2017 is when this will take place. But it's just gotta be done way ahead of time. So then there's all these dates, you know, by October 1, they had to let me know, I think, and by November 15th anyway, we will have to hold, if it's not accepted tomorrow night, a public hearing in the county board of the final saying this. So I'll know more after tomorrow night. And then the only other thing I have is another subdivision plat. I think, did you guys all get copies of that? This is the old Art Monday property, when you went into Wyoming there on the west edge, where Gerald and Meeker owns a lot, right next to Doc Bennett's.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
little house there.
Yeah.
And Meeker's own, there's several tracts there that they've got like a 40-some acre tract, a 30-some acre tract, and there's a little acre and a half. It's kind of chopped up. I think maybe they're going to sell that house off that they bought off from this Art Monday, because Mike Birdie's brought the plats in and he's kind of handling this for him, and Wallace did the surveying it. But according to the State Plat Act, this isn't our zoning, you're only allowed to sell off less than 5 acres one time. And I was just up there last month, I think, with Mike Kingsley, because he was gonna build a new home. He owns lots of farm ground there, but there was already split off to Steve,
Right.
the 3 acres you bought, so.
That's correct.
So there was already once less than 5 acres sold. It's the same situation here. All they're gonna do, that other remaining like 3.5 acres, or I think it's 4.21 altogether, so the other 3.71 or whatever, it's just going to actually, or 2.71 would be, it's just farm ground behind there, they're farming it behind that house, and they own all the farmland to the north. So there's really not a problem with this, it's just according to the state flag, they had to subdivide.
Nobody complained, I mean, was it passed unanimously by the,
Yeah, we had planning commission. See, the Board of Appeals doesn't act on this, on subdivision plats, it doesn't require the public hearing in that.
Oh.
So this is just state plat act, so, it's not in our zoning ordinance where it required rezoning in that. So, but like I said, it's not that they're really forming a subdivision, it's the same thing as wagon blocks and all these other places where they, you know, maybe a family member is, they split off one tract for an acre and a half, and then you go to split another one.
but you didn't have anybody complain or bring up any concerns at all? What do you just need a motion for us to allow that? What do you need to say?
Yeah, you just need to, like we have in the past, just a motion second and vote on it.
Motion by Steve, is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Second by Tom to approve this
It's a Meeker subdivision.
Meeker subdivision. Okay, the 2 on township, is there any other discussion? If not, we can pull the board.
Mr. Mueller,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Mr. R. Story,
Yes.
Mr. S. Story,
Yes.
Mr. Howes,
Yes.
Ms. Magnuson,
Yes.
Chairman Baker.
Yes. All right. Thanks,
Don't
Debbie.
you just leave these with Mike to sign, Jim Belinda?
Oh,
I need
yeah,
your
yeah,
signature
that's
on it,
right,
but
that's
if you're-
right. It's like
You don't
about
have to right now if you
18.
want to sign them and give them to Linda, because Linda
Yeah.
eventually anyway.
Okay.
There's not quite as many as last time, I can tell you. Let's see.
Jim, right here, does everyone be on that page?
Pardon
Yep,
me?
just on everyone,
Yeah.
oh, it'll be the
Yeah,
same spot,
everything's
okay.
on everything.
Hey, you don't do it.
What was
You
that?
just need to go to that meeting and talk to them.
Laura.
I heard about that, you're losing your touch. She has butted that last meeting, so.
Oh, did
You were
they,
there, Jason.
did they upset Mother
Jason's the
Nature?
witness right there.
Did they upset Mother Nature? Did they? That's not good. I would get beat for that. Come later.
All right, there you go.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm not fixing tonight.
Well, it's there.
Oh, it's awful quiet little guy back there.
I forgot about it.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
All right, anything we want to bring up before we go into committee reports? You want to talk about that UCCI thing, Tom, real quick? That's October 19th and 20th.
It's the graduation.
I'm just looking at Colleen.
It's just, yeah, I'm looking, no, I was looking at you and I'm sorry. It's held in the Abraham Lincoln Memorial Museum in the foyer. There will be about 300 to 350 people come to eat. The Illinois militia will march in with the flag, You'll have complete run of the museum if you wanna bring family or whatever, and they even give you money to go shopping. It's a really nice function, and then the next morning, there's a training session, and if someone attends it, then we get $300 back for it, so.
It's a regular UCCI meeting, but it's a graduation. It is a very nice reception. You know, the museum is great, so if anybody wants to go, and there's no cost to attend that.
No, no.
Right, so it's very nice. I went down last year for
Tremendous.
Tom's graduation, and it was Game 7 of the World Series, and I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan, and I'm down there having supper with Tom instead of home watching the game. That's,
I have to say thank you, because you did come, and I really appreciate
oh, it
it.
was fun. It was very, very well done. It is. I mean, if you want to go, if you haven't been to the museum, it's a great place. It's neat. It really is.
And
That's,
anyone who really is interested in the county board, if you pick up one of those sheets for next year, there's 6 weekends that you can go to school from the University of Illinois Springfield. The estimated cost of that training is above $5,000, and it's taught by John Hartnett, and he was a negotiator for the state of Illinois prior to going to University of Illinois Springfield. Winkler, who used to be a representative, I believe, he's from government services, and the training is excellent, and they put you up, they just treat you like a king or queen. It just does require 6 weekends of your time, but I learned and learned. Of course, I didn't have anywhere to go but to learn, so it was good.
all right. Anything else before we get into community reports? All right, Robert, you want to do the bills?
Do we have to?
Nobody.
Don't have to.
I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. The only thing I noticed was the court appointed counsel got us for $3,600 this month.
Yeah.
That's, it seems like they do that about every other month. Don't know how that works out.
Well, maybe, you know, we'll want to reach out to McBride and see if he wants to, you know, propose to be the public defender. Maybe we can ask him. I mean, I'm sure it's out of his control too.
Oh, I'm sure it is,
But
too.
still, though, it is a problem because that was our hope that when we hired the public defender on a part-time basis.
Cut down costs.
to cut our costs down. And
And then
sometimes
I
it has
think
been
it
down, you know, $2,500 on one, $1,100 on another. And that's above and beyond his cost.
Yes, it is.
What
So-
did that cost? I was trying to find that in these papers too. What did that cost us last year in 11, a quarter ton? Because we've been talking about. I
Yeah.
can't remember. I was looking at that and I saw the public defender salary. And I
Yeah.
was trying, because we pay that plus all the quarter.
Right, we do.
And I
But
thought,
we also get
In
reimbursed.
fact, last year,
We
well,
do?
part of it, right.
Part of it, yeah.
Okay.
But last year, I think I
Why
saw
do we
where our court
care about
appointed counsel was cost us 20 grand, and what we're paying him cost us 27 grand.
That's
will we
about
get
right.
reimbursed for all of
Just
it?
on the public defender, no, not on the
Yeah,
court
wait a
appointed
second.
counsel, we don't.
Well, unless Mr. Owens can collect it, it's proven that they're not indigent.
I was just
Well-
curious how much it was hurting our budget.
Well, it hurts.
Yeah,
It
let's
hurts
scratch
it.
that there.
But I couldn't take, it wasn't listed.
What it is, if I understand it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
is that Mr. McBride cannot represent the defendant because it's a conflict of interest. So the judge has to find another lawyer.
Right. Why is it such a conflict of interest all the time?
Well, if Mr. McBride had.
Loves everybody or something?
I don't know.
Well,
Well, if it's a deal where if there's a couple defendants in the same crime, and he's
Okay.
defending one of the defendants, and
Right.
he can't defend the
So
other
it just- it
defendant.
can't help.
If he's had any past experience with that defendant.
So it's really nothing we can do about it?
There isn't
No,
any, it's all driven by the
It
courts.
just kinda hits us in the
Yeah.
tailbone once in a while.
Okay.
Right, it really.
We can't do anything about it.
But other than that, I did not see anything, Michael.
Okay.
Supplies, all the normal stuff.
Is there any way we can go to the Illinois Bar Association and see if we can't pass a resolution like we did with the Medicare, the Medicaid thing after we had the problem with Thompson, where we don't pay any more money? You know, in other words, does the judge set this salary that Mr. Rennick charges us? Where does this come from?
I don't know. I can't
I
answer
think the
that.
attorney gets his standard fee.
That's something we can ask. Let's approve these bills first, and then we get off some
No,
side stuff.
that's why I just
I make-
asked.
No, I know, but that's a
I
good
make a
one.
motion to pay him.
Okay.
Okay, motion by
Do you want to ask a question?
Robert, and motion
No,
second
I
by
was-
Pauline to pay the bills. Any other discussion? If not, we can pull the board.
Oh, wait, I do have a question. How come we get so much mileage from you?
Cause he's doing his
Get
job.
mileage from me when I use my pickup truck to haul stuff for the county.
Well, quit using it.
Sure, I'll put an ad in the paper tomorrow to hire a handyman,
I'll come and do it.
and I will not have to do it. I'll put that in there first thing in the morning.
I'll make sure.
It'll be in there.
Okay.
So we got a motion and a second on the floor to pay the bills. Any other discussion? If not, we can pull the board.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. R. Story?
Yes.
Mr. S. Story?
Yes.
Mr. House?
Yes.
Ms. Magnuson?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Chairman Bigger?
Yes. Okay, Don, you got anything?
Oh, I attended the Stark County Health Board meeting last Tuesday. Kind of a routine board meeting that I must say I'm impressed with Gail Ripka's leadership of the Stark County and Henry County Health Board. They do a lot of good work for the Henry County and Stark County and regards to public's health and safety. And they presented, Dwayne, his treasurer, presented me with the budget to present to the board for next year. And Lee Hager replaced his wife as a member of that board.
Good.
I have
John, you got anything on buildings?
Did the polls ever get?
No,
painted?
he's been told again. You wanna put him in jail till he does it? I just saw that.
Cause I don't have to ride around with a squad car with you, for heaven's
He didn't ride around me, he ride with Jimmy in his truck.
sake. It's butter stuff.
Probably.
Anything else, Tom, on buildings?
I think everything's come along, there's not much else we can do.
Okay. All right, Bob, economic development?
See, the sheet that Denny's prepared, Rick St. John has been laid up for the whole month of August and into September. And so Denny's been trying to, Denny's the leg man. I mean, he's the one who does a lot of leg work. I mean, Rich is the one that writes the nice reports, but Denny's done a nice job here. Really, I can't, being on the LLC executive board and the board from the Tucson market, Denny was a tremendous help in getting this thing going here in Tucson again, to get Chad from Wyoming to consider and then finally come through with this. So, we're very happy with what's going on in there. He's working with, like I say, with the person there, and I don't know exactly what's going on with the building there in Wyoming. But I know he's working with Rich Hepner a lot on this, getting these websites really working up and much better, everything format, everything else that we can use throughout the county with that. Leadership Academy plan on September 19th at 1:30. This is through an extension office, as I said before, extension is really done by, like Donna said about the health department, extension office is really, since the combination of the consolidation is, I think, have done a lot. And what we're looking forward to here is actually formalizing a leadership academy that would fit Stark County. It's been done over in Henry and in some of the others, but again, Stark being as rural as we are, there's some other things that really need to be taken into account, and they're willing to work with us and try to devise a leadership academy for people, in business within Stark County that would be very profitable for us as a county and yes, leadership. One of the other things that Denny's been involved with is, again, with the grocery store, which would be also not only do Tucson to Wyoming, is that last year we did a group of students from Bradley did a project on the grocery store here in Tucson. This year they're doing a sort of a follow-up marketing plan, and what they're doing is looking in the whole area of what makes rural grocery stores tick and what makes it go, and won't be specifically toward Tucson market or anything, but it will be something that should help both Tucson and Wyoming. And he's been involved with that also, making sure that these Bradley students working with us. So it's been busy and it's been working out pretty well.
What's the Leadership Academy at?
It's just something, again, where it's a lot like UCIC, where they're gonna bring in people and try to give some workshops and things, for business people in the community to help them understand some of what's happening in the, economics of small business and things like this. I don't know, it's just something that, what I saw on the large scale, I didn't think would fit for what, Stark County, but they're willing to work with us and see if we can come up with something that would help you know, the rural entrepreneur and the rural person.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Bob. Anything on technology, Steve?
No.
Legislative wise, there's not much going on there. I mean, the fall veto session will be starting in October. Actually, our state senator, Darren LaHood, and our incoming state rep, David Leach, will be here Saturday, hosting a state farm event at the high school Saturday from 10 until 1. It's called a Celebrate My Drive event. It's a safe teen driving initiative the State Farm is pushing. It's a nationwide deal on the 15th of September where they have events in what they call marquee cities. And they encourage agents to have their own local events. So I've partnered with the high school, working with Mr. D'Amico and with Tim Carstens and Jim Langdon. So we're gonna put on an event there, and from at 11 o'clock is the actual program. And Darren LaHood and David Leach will both be here. Don Moffett may be, he's got an event in Galesburg at 10 o'clock that morning, he may not be. So if anybody wants to see the state senator and state rep, it's mainly an event geared towards the kids and teen safe driving, but they will be there. I'm sure some of the teachers and administrators that will be there might want to talk to Senator LaHood and Representative Moffett regarding pension reform in the state, and so there might be some other issues that come up. But if anybody wants to see, you know, our state senator, and again, David Leach will be our state rep after the November election. Don is still our state rep until the January term starts. And so other than that, I'm actually going down tomorrow to a 2-day Senate Republican event in Red Lake in southern Illinois, where you know, a lot of the people will be there on the Republican side of the aisle. But otherwise, I don't think there's going to be too much going on until the fall veto session. I haven't heard any war stories about, the sheriff's out there getting us some more money right now, maybe. Or, oh, that's probably a Tewon police officer, though, actually.
Somebody gave up.
I don't know, I see flash,
Parked in the wrong place.
flashing lights, but he's probably calling a deputy out on overtime right now. Okay, so next month, we got it, Mark's gonna do his budget, we know, so we still need to get Debbie's. And we need, who else?
Katrina
Katrina,
and,
So we need it 6
Oh, yeah, and we'll need, the probation yet to go, we need to get with the smaller ones too, we need to get Fred Sams on the ESDA budget.
Do we have to do all of them now, because don't we have to have it by November?
We gotta have it, we
Or
gotta have it.
December? No.
Right, we got it, what we have to do is pass the budget in the middle of November so that there's 15 days left that it can lay for a public inspection. And we typically come back in the morning of the 30th and approve it, and then it takes effect on the 1st. And so we'll have time, October and November, we may have to schedule a special meeting, but we'll definitely have our regular finance committee meeting, so we'll wanna definitely do the
6 o'clock.
Mark's
big
and
budget. And
anybody else?
let's try to do Mark, Katrina, and Debbie if we can. I think we can get all three of them in an hour, and then that would just leave the smaller ones.
Yep.
Yeah,
Starting at 6
6.
with
Who's that lead,
Mark.
just Fred?
That leaves Fred, probation, Allison's.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay, so Mark,
Okay.
first at 6
That's
o'clock,
under Jimmy.
No,
We'll
Jimmy
send
did that on
agenda.
control
We've
already.
already done that.
Katrina and Deb then,
That's it,
Right.
yeah.
Well, you know, and
For
actually,
those three.
yeah, for those,
All
for
right.
sure, and,
starting at 6.
right,
Okay,
Oh, you might as well bring Allison, let's get it over.
well,
Hers is very short.
and so is Fred's.
Yeah,
So let's try them.
Yeah, we
We're
can
a
go
little bit past, we're a little bit
Okay.
past on that.
Yeah, let's just
you
get
want to
them all.
include them?
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
sure.
Allison, Fred.
That'll give us time to go back and
Okay, are
make
you
any
doing
changes
Brown
we
Bag?
foresee.
I can't, because I'm gonna be gone
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday.
All
I
right,
gotta leave
I'll
early
let
in
him
the
know
morning,
tomorrow.
till or Thursday night, so
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
I-
Go ahead.
I was gonna- is that what-
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to tell you that, it sounds like, when you talk about this, regional office budget, I
Oh.
think we need to get some explanation. If I'm reading this right, she is, in 2 ways, just in salaries, because she said there are increases, but she's going from anticipated, projected 388,000 to 486,000, $98,000 increase. And for part-time salaries, it looks like for projected, and this is just projected, because she under budgeted last time, another 24,000 more. I think there's an explanation on that before.
Well, let's invite her to come to the regular
Yeah,
meeting.
Regular meeting.
What do they want, what do they want?
Well, I did, well, I mean, it's just,
Do they want
it's
the
just,
same
it's sort of,
amount?
no, there's up,
They
I
up-
don't know how much, it's not that great, it's just when they say, if you
Well,
look at
now,
that.
did they combine Henry County with
Oh,
somebody?
yeah, we
Where else?
we get 7%, I'm just saying, why is this huge increase in salaries for
Oh, you're
both
looking at
full-time
that.
and,
Right.
yeah, you know.
Well, too, we gotta be careful, because last year, she asked for more money, we passed a budget not authorizing the increase in money, but she got paid the increase in money anyhow.
Right.
So what I would go in to do is say, no, we don't have an extra dollar this year, we're gonna pay what we paid last year.
I mean, that's just,
But I agree, let's invite her to come in and,
How did
explain
that,
that salary.
how did that happen? She got what we didn't agree to.
I don't know,
Oh, anybody knows?
Well, the,
I mean, we last year, we budgeted, we're gonna keep it right where it was, we did not honor the increase.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But she got paid the increase.
just the first quarter,
Was that then we stopped it?
yes.
Then we caught,
Yeah.
they caught it?
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
what's the increase in salary?
Well, it looks like, I mean, she's projecting 388,000 for this year. She's asking for 486,000 next year. Yeah, it's, you know, $98,000.
And it's still just these
And,
counties?
yeah, those three counties,
Starkville.
yeah, I, you know, I don't know where,
She's not even
Well, we, what we
incorporated
need to do is for
anymore.
the sympathy card, and just
See,
sign it.
this was the first one that I gave to all the board members
I
a couple
remember
of
it
months
all.
ago.
Oh, she's upped it since then.
And this is the one that
Yeah.
I received on August
Oh,
twenty-seventh.
okay.
So she has upped it since she sent
Yeah, a couple
that.
$100, because she
And
originally
this
said
was-
12,476, now it's
Oh, I don't think-
12,633.
She's
how much
changed
how much
it.
than last year? I mean, that's what it's,
Um,
You
for
should
here.
have been a cat photo with him every day on the tree.
it's just not, yeah, that's,
Why spend money?
I realize, being a former superintendent, I realize the necessity for the office, but not when you add $100,000 to the salary.
Every time he went by me in Scotland, zero.
I can't find it right offhand here, but,
All right,
Yeah, that's all right, I'll look when I get home. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, but I know that,
I'll just,
Gee,
I
I
just,
felt sorry for me.
No, I never felt part of it.
okay, so we're all set, we're gonna try to do all the budgets at 6 next time?
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't get it done.
Anything else we got, guys?
5 of them.
We need to start like a quarter to 6.
Yeah, I think if we stay right at it, because we, you know what, because the reason I say that, Tom, is we gave Ron a half an hour tonight, and we don't have, we'll have the whole hour.
And
Yeah.
if we don't get off on some other subject.
It's all right, we need one, but when I want something.
I want none, so I'm like this.
You
Is
just
there a
want-
motion to adjourn?
Hey, we're
Motion by Steve, seconded by Tom. Adjourn.
They decreased those.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, is that
No,
it?
that's it. We're done.
We're done.
Thanks, everyone.
Did they not
They
come
didn't
from?
touch
No, I
this.
want to start on that.
no, we're big enough.
We're bringing up, we're okay.
I mean, that's really hard to go, but